It just baffles me. People are like, you can't get it in the United States? No. It just amazes me because you think the United States has everything, and really they don't. My name's Tamara Marquis, and I'm a C4, C5 incomplete quadriplegic. I was involved in a single car rollover accident and broke my neck. A car cut us off on a freeway and threw the car into a roll. As far as I know, they had me at the hospital and on steroids in 10 minutes. I wasn't really awake for the first 4 weeks, but my dad says that they did go in and fuse it from the front and the back and put plates in there within the first couple days. I live with my parents and my 2 young daughters. They're just babies. They rely on caregivers to get me up and feed me and do everything for me during the day, except for I'm finally going back to school online, hoping to do something. I've been sitting in a chair all day like I did for the first 2 years. For a while we were doing therapy, and I haven't done therapy in over a year, and just basically take care of anything as far as infections or any of that goes, and that's it. The therapists in Elko are not equipped to take care of me. I had one that came in and he'd spend an hour, and it'd take him an hour to stretch my leg 3 times on each side, and that was it. And then he said there was no point unless I got more movement, he wouldn't come back. My caregivers do stretch my legs and stretch my arms and work on that, but that's it. No real therapy, no exercise. There was a lot of websites that would tell you, oh, we had someone up walking in a week, and you go in there and you get a therapy, you go in there and you get 2 transfusions and you go home. And the big thing to me was that they tell you flat out, it's not 100% guarantee, it's what you put into it. If you were to pay for that therapy in the United States, it'd be way more than that. I don't think it was that expensive. I mean, yes, it's not a cheap process, but the other places I looked into was Mexico and the Caribbean that were doing stem cells, and it was probably right around the same price to go over there and get 2 transfusions and come straight home. Whereas I stayed for 35 days, got 7 transfusions and therapy for the same price. I had 7 stem cell injections, 2 IV and 5 spinal punctures. I never had any side effects. I know a lot of people complained of headaches and stuff after lumbar. Never had a headache, never had a fever, never got sick. Laying on your back for 6 hours does get a little boring, but once I sat up, I'd be fine. They just say to not to lift your head, don't use a pillow or anything, just lay flat for 6 hours. And that was it. They do put some numbing cream, like Novocaine type cream, on your hand or whatever before they put an IV in. And they do give you a local sedative. And that's it. You have to go to different buildings for different things. There's a building where they do all their CT scans and their x-rays, and it looks like it's a third world, but they got everything accomplished. They couldn't get my spinal tap, my lumbar punctures in the first time. They tried, and so they scheduled and went and did a CT scan, and they did about 12 pictures of that and realized that wasn't enough information for them, so they did a 3D scan. They did all the medical equipment. It just doesn't look what you're used to in the United States. But it was very effective. They definitely do not give up, because if it was in doctors in the U.S., they would have given up on the lumbar puncture with me. A lot of hard work. I was very tired at the beginning, and then I started, actually made me feel good, but they push you when you think you just can't go anymore. They just make you do that one last one, not to give up. In the morning, I would go at 9 o'clock in the morning, and they'd put me on a standing table for about a half hour to 45 minutes. And then they would put me on a table and they would stretch my legs, make me work out my triceps and my biceps, trying to learn to use my forearm and my wrists and stretch my hands. And I would get done there probably about 11:30 in the morning. And then I would go back to OT at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they'd put me on a standing table for about another 45 minutes and make me stretch out my arms and try to pick things up and move them and catch balls and throw them back. And then they'd put me on the floor, and I would have to learn to roll over with help and roll back over, and learn to support myself sitting on my elbows. And I can sit up. Once they sit me up, I can stay now sitting for about a minute or 2 on my own without support, and learning to keep my head up because my neck muscles are very, very weak. Acupuncture hurts. So I don't know why people do it for fun, because it's not fun. But it only hurts for a second, and they put electricity through it. You sit there and jump. But getting the needle in we're like, ow. They got videotapes, and they said my legs and my arms were just jumping around. I was a little shocked when I realized they put electricity to it. But it gets the muscles, sometimes as soon as she put the needles in, my hand would start jumping, knowing what she was going to do next. After the first 2 injections and a couple days of therapy, I noticed my right arm was getting a lot stronger. And then after the 3rd injection, I can feel a little bit lower down on my back. And another week of therapy, I was able to actually sit up and correct my position and sit there without them holding on to me for a little bit. I know when they stick me with needles to do the filling test, they poke you. You can't feel something because I know where my filling level is, and once it stops, you can't feel it, and you can't make yourself think you feel it. And it's gone down 2 levels. I think a lot of the therapy also helped. The stem cells helped, and the therapy as far as stretching. Placebo effect can't make your arms get stronger, it just makes you think it does. But I can actually see the improvements with my hands, and my hand was deformed severely when we got there, my right hand was, and they worked on that, getting it undeformed. We actually cooked dinner and stuff a lot of the times instead of ordering. I brought a lot of dehydrated fruit and things like that, but you can find pretty much regular food in the stores. Just give yourself a couple days to get acclimated. They have everything that you could want. We had Pizza Hut one day, we had McDonald's. KFC's a big thing there, really big thing. And there's another pizza place, OK Pizza. And a couple of those places deliver, so you can just call and bring it to your room. And they do have a restaurant that you can order food from. They're in the hospital and they bring it down to your room, or you can go up there and eat. You know, you just have to learn that no matter where you go, people are going to stare at you. But they're very friendly. They just are curious. Because I haven't met anybody rude. They're all trying to help. Everybody tries to help you no matter what it is you need. Everybody in Shijiazhuang, it was just more than friendly. And we couldn't speak their language, and they couldn't speak our language, but luckily my caregiver does good charade. Anything you need, they were more than willing. You always have a nurse or at least 3 nurses and 2 doctors. If you ever went looking for one person, you'd come back with about 4 or 5 people willing to help whatever it was that you needed. We'd get all the nurses together and dump out the chair, or something wasn't working, they'd get somebody in there real quick to get my arms back functioning fully so I can raise my children on my own. I am a lot stronger. I'm just working on my hands and my wrists now, but I have seen where my arms can do a lot more than when I first got here. But yeah, I do want to get at least my arms and my hands back. Check everything, read everything, check other sites too, and know that what your body can handle. So long trip, but it's a lot of work. And if you're thinking it's just going to be a miracle, it's not. You have to put a lot of work into it to get anything out of it.